My girlfriend of 3 years told me I needed a real man, but everyone knows you are not enough. She cheated, and our friends agreed with her. I walked out without a word. Now my phone will not stop ringing. I am Michael 28M, and this happened 3 days ago. Still trying to process it all. My girlfriend Allison 27F and I had been together since college. We moved in together last year. I thought we were building something real. The signs were there if I am honest. She started working late more often around 2 months ago. New clothes appearing in our closet that I didn't remember her buying. Her phone became something she guarded like state secrets. But I trusted her. We had 3 years of history. You don't just throw that away over paranoia, right? Last Tuesday I was home early doing laundry. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the preview was right there on the lock screen. A message from someone named Jay, "Miss you already." Last night was incredible. My hands went numb. That specific kind of cold that starts in your chest and spreads outward until you cannot feel your fingertips anymore. I sat there staring at those words for probably 5 minutes before I heard her keys in the door. She came in smiling, talking about her day like everything was normal. I waited until she went to the kitchen to make a smoothie. The blender drowned out my thoughts for a minute. When she finally turned it off, I asked the question I already knew the answer to. Who is Jay? Her whole body went rigid for maybe 2 seconds. Then something shifted in her expression. She didn't look guilty or scared. She looked almost relieved. And then she smiled. Not the smile I knew. Something else entirely. "I was wondering when you would finally notice," she said. "Took you long enough. Jay is my boss. We have been sleeping together for 2 months. She said it the way you might comment on the weather. Casual. Matter of fact, like she was telling me she picked up groceries. I needed a real man, Michael. Someone who actually has ambition. Not someone who spends his weekends playing video games with Jacob and watching movies. 3 years of my life with this person. 3 years of planning a future. And this was how she really saw me. The words hit harder than the cheating itself somehow. I stood there trying to find something to say. My brain kept short-circuiting. Do our friends know? I finally managed to ask. She actually laughed. Oh, they know. Chloe helped me pick out what to wear on our first date. Jacob thinks I deserve someone more successful. They get it, Michael. Jay can actually give me the life I want. I pulled out my phone right there and opened our group chat with Jacob and Chloe. Is this true? Jacob's reply came fast. Dude, you are a good guy, but Allison deserves more. Someone established. Nothing personal. Then Chloe, we didn't know how to tell you. Maybe this is the push you need to get serious about your career. I looked back at Allison. She was watching me with that same cold smile, waiting for me to yell or break something or give her the scene she could tell everyone about later. Proof that I was the problem all along. Instead, I felt this strange calm wash over me, like my body had decided to shut down the panic and just let me operate on autopilot. I walked to our bedroom and grabbed my gym bag, threw in enough clothes for a few days, grabbed my laptop and charger. When I came back through the kitchen, Allison was staring at me. The smile had faded a bit. Where are you going? She demanded. Out, I said. Keep the apartment. I am sure Jay can help with rent. I walked out the door while she was still processing that, got in my car and drove. I had no destination in mind, just drove until I found myself at this cheap motel on the edge of town. The guy at the desk was maybe 60, looked like he had seen every kind of human drama play out in his parking lot. Rough day? He asked. Something like that. He knocked $20 off the weekly rate without me asking. Sometimes you can just tell when someone's life is sideways. I turned my phone off after I saw the notifications start coming in. 18 missed calls. 30-something texts. I didn't want to know what they said yet. I just wanted silence for one night. To sleep without having to pretend everything was okay. The motel room smelled like old carpet and industrial cleaner, but the bed was clean. I lay there staring at the ceiling, wondering how I had missed so many signs. Wondering if I really was the problem. Maybe I wasn't ambitious enough. Maybe I was too comfortable. Maybe I deserved exactly what happened. That was 2 days ago. Yesterday I finally turned my phone back on. 57 messages total, most from Allison, some from our friends. And then I saw what she had been doing while I was gone. Her Instagram stories were full of posts about emotional abuse and manipulation. According to her version, I had been a controlling, jealous boyfriend who monitored her constantly. I had isolated her from friends, made her feel worthless. When she finally stood up for herself, I threw a violent tantrum. The comments were full of support. People I considered friends telling her how brave she was, how proud they were that she escaped. Some of them I had known for years. There was more. Someone forwarded me an email that went out at work. Company-wide thing about creating safe workplace environments. Vague language about concerning employee behavior. No names, but the timing made it obvious who they meant. I should have been furious. Maybe I should have posted my own story, defended myself. Instead, I just felt curious in a detached way. Like I was watching this happen to someone else. How far was she planning to take this? Then I got a message request from someone I didn't know. Profile picture showed a woman, maybe mid-40s, expensive jewelry. The message was short. I think we should talk about my husband and your girlfriend. Coffee tomorrow? It was signed Diana. I stared at that message for a long time before I replied. Jay's married. Of course he is. Why would anything about this situation be simple? I agreed to meet her this morning. As I drove to the coffee shop, she suggested. I kept thinking about what Allison said. I needed a real man. Like manhood was measured in salary and status. Like the 3 years we spent together meant nothing because I wasn't climbing corporate ladders fast enough. Diana was already there when I arrived. She looked exactly like her profile picture, composed, put together. The kind of person who had probably never spent a night in a cheap motel because her life fell apart. Thank you for meeting me, she said as I sat down. I know this must be strange. Strange doesn't quite cover it. She smiled a little at that, a sad smile that told me she had been through this before. How much do you know about Jay? Just that he is my girlfriend's boss, and apparently the man she needed. Diana pulled out her phone and showed me a folder full of documents, text messages, emails, expense reports, photos taken from what looked like security cameras. She had been collecting evidence for months. Allison's not the first, she said quietly. There has been at least 3 others over the past 5 years. Young women at the company. He starts an affair, helps them advance their careers. Then when they become inconvenient or demanding, he moves on to the next one. Usually ruins their reputations on the way out. Why are you showing me this? Because you walked away with dignity. The others either made scenes that he could use against them, or they ran. You just left. No drama. No giving him ammunition. That tells me you are different. She slid a business card across the table, her lawyer's information. I am filing for divorce. The company is involved too. Pattern of misconduct. Financial irregularities. If you want to protect yourself from whatever story Allison is spinning, you might want documentation. My lawyer can help. I took the card, looked at this woman who had every reason to fall apart but was sitting here putting together a legal strategy instead. Why help me? I asked. Because, she said. I spent 5 years making excuses for him, believing his lies, protecting his reputation at my own expense. I am done with that, and I am done watching him and whoever he is with destroy people who don't deserve it. We talked for another hour. She told me about the other women, the patterns, the way Jay and Allison had been careful but not careful enough, how she had hired a private investigator after the 3rd affair, how she had been waiting for the right moment to make her move. The company party is next week, she said as we were leaving. Annual thing. Everyone will be there, including Jay and Allison. You should come. Why would I do that? Because sometimes the best way to expose a lie is to just show up and let people see the truth. I drove back to the motel thinking about what she said. Pete, the desk clerk, waved as I walked past the office. How is it going? Getting interesting, I told him. He grinned. That is what I like to hear. Edit. A lot of people are asking why I didn't confront her right away or defend myself publicly. Honestly, I don't know. It just felt like engaging with her version would give it legitimacy, like fighting back would prove her point about me being unstable. Edit 2. Yes, I know. I should have seen this coming sooner. Trust me, I know. But when you have been with someone that long, You convince yourself the weird stuff has explanations. You give them the benefit of the doubt because that is what partners do. I get that I was naive. Update 1. It has been a week since my last post. The company party was last night, and I need to write this all down while it is still fresh because I don't think anyone would believe it otherwise. After meeting with Diana, I spent the week in this weird limbo going to work. Coming back to the motel, watching Allison's social media posts get more elaborate. She posted this tearful video about surviving emotional abuse, about finally finding the courage to leave a toxic relationship. The comments were full of people praising her strength. My coworker Gemma pulled me aside Wednesday. She looked uncomfortable. You should know people are talking. About you, about what Allison is saying. Let them talk. She bit her lip. Look, I don't know you that well, but I work with some of Allison's friends. They have been showing around screenshots of things she says you did. Threatening texts you supposedly sent. Controlling behavior. I never sent her threatening texts. I know, Gemma said quietly. I know because I saw the metadata on one of the screenshots. It was edited badly. I do photo forensics as a hobby. The whole thing is fabricated. Why are you telling me this? Because it is messed up, and because she did this to someone else at the company before you. Guy named Mark. He just disappeared, left town. Deleted all his social media. I always wondered what happened to him. That was the second time I heard about Mark. Diana had mentioned him too. Pattern behavior. This wasn't about me specifically. This was just what Allison and Jay did to people. The party was at a hotel downtown. I almost didn't go. Spent an hour sitting in the motel room trying to decide if showing up would make things better or worse. Finally, I put on the one suit I owned and drove there. Figured worst case, I leave early. Best case, I don't know what best case would even look like. I arrived late. The event was already in full swing. Walking through those doors felt like stepping into hostile territory. Conversations stopped. People stared. I could hear the whispers start immediately. Then I saw her. Allison was across the room in a red dress I didn't recognize. She had a drink in one hand and was laughing at something someone said. When she noticed me, her whole face changed. The smile vanished. She looked at Jay, who was standing next to her. His expression went from confused to angry in about 2 seconds. I just stood there, didn't approach them, didn't make a scene, just got a drink from the bar and found a corner to observe from. Chloe showed up first. She was tipsy. Her words were slurred. What are you doing here? You have some nerve showing up after everything you put Allison through. Everything I put her through? That is an interesting way to phrase it. She leaned in close. Everyone knows what you did. The texts, the controlling behavior. You should be ashamed. That was when Gemma appeared out of nowhere. Actually, Chloe, I think we should all talk about what really happened. She pulled out her phone, started showing people the edited screenshots, the metadata, the timeline that didn't add up. Chloe's face went pale. Where did you get those? From the group chat Allison thought was private. Turns out someone in that chat had a conscience and forwarded everything to me. The group around us was getting bigger. People were listening now, pulling out their own phones. Comparing stories, then Diana walked in. Update 2, you have no idea how much fun it was next. She didn't make a big entrance, didn't announce herself, just walked up to where Jay was standing with Allison and several board members. She was carrying a tablet. Hello everyone, she said pleasantly. Sorry I am late. I brought some documents I thought you might find interesting. Jay went completely white. Diana, what are you doing here? Supporting my soon-to-be ex-husband at his company party. Isn't that what good wives do? She opened the tablet and started showing people the evidence she had collected. Expense reports showing dinners with Allison charged to company accounts, hotel rooms, gifts. Emails discussing how to manage the situation with me, how to discredit me if I became a problem. Allison tried to grab the tablet. Diana pulled it away smoothly. There is more, she said. This isn't the first time. There have been others. Mark Thompson, Jessica Williams, Ashley, same pattern each time. One of the board members I recognized from company events stepped forward. What exactly are you alleging here, Mrs. Diana, she supplied. Diana Hayes. And I am not alleging anything. I am stating facts. My husband has been using his position at this company to conduct affairs with subordinates. When those affairs become complicated, he and his current partner systematically destroy the reputation of anyone who might expose them. I have documentation going back 5 years. Jay tried to speak. Diana, this is insane. You are embarrassing yourself. She turned to look at him. The expression on her face was colder than anything I had seen from Allison. I spent 5 years being embarrassed, Jay. That is over now. Allison finally found her voice. This is all lies. She is bitter because her marriage is falling apart. Michael was abusive. We all know what he did. That was when Jacob stepped forward. I had not expected that. He was filming on his phone, had been filming the whole time apparently. Actually, he said slowly, I have video of you planning this whole thing, Allison. You and Jay, in the parking garage last week, talking about how to handle the Michael situation, how to make sure he looked unstable if he tried to fight back. Why do you have that? I asked. Jacob looked embarrassed. I was trying to document it to show Jay later, prove I was loyal, that I could be useful for moving up in the company. But listening to it now, it just sounds really messed up. The room had gone completely silent. Everyone was staring at Allison and Jay, waiting to see what would happen next. Allison looked around at all the faces watching her. The people who had supported her story, who had believed her version. I could see the moment she realized it was all falling apart. You think you are so clever, she said to me. Her voice was shaking. You and that bitter woman trying to ruin everything I built. Jay loves me. We were going to have a life together. Diana laughed. It was not a kind sound. He told you the same thing, he told the others. Same script, different actress. She pulled up something else on her tablet, showed Allison text messages between Jay and another woman. Recent messages from last week. Allison stared at the screen. Her face crumpled. She turned to Jay. You said you ended things with her. I did, he stammered. This is old. Diana is manipulating the dates. The messages were time-stamped 3 days ago. While you were posting about your brave new relationship, I watched Allison process that, watched her realize she had destroyed her reputation and her relationship with me for someone who was already moving on to the next person. The mascara started running down her face. She looked at me, actually looked at me for the first time all night. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I know, I said, but it did. She left after that. Just walked out of the party with everyone staring. Jay tried to follow her, but Diana stopped him. You have meetings with HR and legal starting Monday. I suggest you get a good lawyer. The party emptied out pretty quickly after that. People uncomfortable with the drama. The board members huddled in a corner having urgent, quiet conversations. I found myself standing alone near the bar. Diana came over, handed me a glass of wine I hadn't asked for. How do you feel? Honestly, I don't know. Relieved, maybe, sad, angry, all of it at once. That is normal. She took a sip of her own drink. For what it is worth, I think you handled this with more grace than most people would have. I just wanted it to be over. It will be. Just takes time. I drove back to the motel that night feeling like I had closed a chapter but hadn't started the next one yet. Pete was in the office watching late-night television. He looked up when I came in. You look different, he said. Better or worse? He thought about it. Like someone who just put down something heavy. Yeah, that was exactly what it felt like. Edit. People keep asking what happened to Jacob and Chloe. Jacob blocked me after the party when I sent him a screenshot of his old messages supporting Allison. Chloe's been doing damage control on social media. Neither of them has apologized for real. Edit 2. Someone asked if I feel bad for Allison. Honestly, yes and no. She made choices that hurt people. But watching her realize Jay was using her the same way he used the others, that was hard to watch even after everything. Final update 2 weeks since the company party. This will be my last update because I need to move forward and stop living in this story. The fallout was fast. Jay and Allison were both asked to resign within 48 hours. The company was more worried about liability than morality. Every expense report got audited. Every email got reviewed. They found years of misconduct. Diana gave everything to her lawyer. Financial fraud. Workplace harassment. Pattern of abuse. She didn't just want a divorce. She wanted to make sure he couldn't do this to anyone else. Then Mark came back. The guy who left town. Diana tracked him down through mutual connections and told him what was happening. He still had documentation from when it happened to him, text messages, emails, performance reviews that mysteriously tanked after he tried to end things with Allison. He filed his own lawsuit. Other people started coming forward after that. Former employees who had been pushed out, who had been told they were the problem, who had left the company or left town entirely because of what Jay and Allison did to them. Allison tried to get ahead of it with another tearful social media post. About being manipulated by Jay. About being a victim herself. But Gemma posted the screenshots of their private chats. The ones where Allison bragged about her conquests. Where she mocked the people they had destroyed. Where she planned how to spin the story if things went wrong. The internet is not forgiving when you weaponize victimhood. Last week Allison showed up at the motel. Pete called me at work. That woman from your story is in the parking lot. She wants to talk to you. I took my time getting there. Found her sitting on the hood of my car. She looked smaller somehow. Tired. The confidence that had always been part of her was just gone. She was holding a folder. I have information on everyone, she said. Her voice was flat. People from the company, our friends, things they don't want public. If you don't help me stop this investigation, I will release all of it. I looked at her. This person I had spent 3 years with, who I had planned a future with, and I felt nothing except maybe pity. Go ahead, I said. Release whatever you want. Burn every bridge you have left. See where that gets you. She started crying. Real tears this time, not performed for social media. I lost everything, Michael. My job, my reputation. Jay will not even return my calls. And you just moved on like I never mattered. You told me I wasn't enough, that you needed a real man, that our friends agreed with you. I did not do this to you, Allison. You did this to yourself. She threw the folder at me, pages scattered across the parking lot, screenshots, private messages, years of collected ammunition. I took photos of everything while she watched, then handed the originals back to her. If you release any of that, you will just prove everyone right about who you really are. She tore up the folder right there, shredding pages and screaming about how we would all regret this, how she would make sure everyone knew the truth. Someone in the motel filmed it on their phone. It was on social media within an hour. The divorce between Diana and Jay finalized yesterday. She got the house, the cars. Most of their assets. Jay is drowning in legal fees and reputation damage. Google his name and the first page is all articles about the scandal. His career in this industry is over. Allison moved back to her parents' place in another state. Her social media went dark. Those friends who backed her story are dealing with their own consequences. It turns out supporting someone who weaponizes abuse allegations has social costs. As for me, I signed a lease on a new apartment last week, got a promotion at work after they saw how I handled everything, and I am seeing someone new. Taking it slow, being careful. Making sure I actually know who I am with this time. Pete, the motel owner, helped me move my stuff to the new place, refused to take any extra money for it. Just said sometimes you help people because that is what decent people do. I thought I would feel more triumphant about how this turned out. Some vindication or satisfaction. Instead, I mostly just feel tired and sad that it had to happen at all, and grateful that I walked away when I did instead of trying to fix something that was broken from the start. Someone asked me if I learned anything from this. Yeah. I learned that when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. I learned that silence can be more powerful than defending yourself. I learned that the truth has a way of coming out if you just give it time and space. But mostly I learned that walking away with dignity is not about winning or losing. It is about knowing your worth and refusing to let other people diminish it. This is my last update. Thank you to everyone who reached out with support or shared similar stories. It helped more than you know. To the people who said, I should have seen it coming, you are right. I should have, but sometimes you don't want to see the truth when it means losing something you thought was real. Moving forward now, no more looking back at it. For anyone asking, I don't hate Allison. I am angry about what she did. But hate takes too much energy. And I would rather spend that energy building something new than dwelling on something that is over. Edit 2. Yes, Pete is real. And yes, he is. As decent as he sounds. Sometimes, you meet people at exactly the right moment. He reminded me that there are still good people in the world when I needed that reminder most.